that? Who is that? Oh my god. Hi everyone. It's One Piece Day. Yippee. Hello everyone. Yeah. The pink monster has appeared. Hello. Hello. Thank you for the subs. Thank you. Thank you. Hi. The pink monster has arrived. How are we doing today? Let's go. Thank you. Thank you for the sub. Someone else subbed before as well, I think, as well. I'm sorry. I missed that. Hi. Hi, everyone. How are we doing? Oh my god. Did we have a fun break week, everybody? Did we have a good and fun break week? Yes? I sure hope so. It's like, break week's like meant to be a holiday. But for a lot of people, they just kind of go insane, don't they? Hello, everyone. Hello, 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 hello. Break week did fly by. I've been told that this is a good chapter. I've been told that it's a good chapter, which has got to mean it's good. I only get told it's good when it's good, and when it's good, it's good. But to be fair, there aren't many One Piece chapters where I am not told that it's good. Sorry, I'm peeved because there's a, I have him, and he fell over when I went back to my desk. Sorry. All right. So, do you like my hat? Thank you. I've had it for ages. I've just never worn it on stream. All right. You met Percival at Smash. Oh god, I apologize for them. Okay. For those who don't know, Percival's the one that made my Sunji body pillow in the back. So yeah, I know them IRL. That was a gift to me. I helped design that. They kept coming to me and said, is this any good? And I said, more, make him cuter, make him prettier, make him more submissive now. In case you didn't know. All right, let's get to the chapter. I'm very excited. 11:54. Guys, I was sleeping. I was sleeping, guys. That was my bedtime story. Family Guy brain rot. I'm sorry. I'm not perfect. Ooh, we don't have a break next week. That's exciting. One Piece funny moments. Okay. Let's start. It's very exciting. Chapter 11:54. Are we ready, everybody? Are we ready? It's time. Everyone shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Chapter 11:54, Can't Even Die. Yamato's Golden Harvest. Go pay your respect at the grave of the hero born in the West Blue and raised in Rengo. What? Also, Kiku's with him now. So Kiku has now joined Yamato as one of his samurai. Yeah. Who do we know? First of all, where the fuck is Ringo? It's in Wano, right? Born in the West. I think we know Daruma was born in Wano though. Don't we? I was thinking Izzo as well. Don't fucking say Shiki. Don't say Shiki. Born in the West and raised in Ringo. That is interesting. Well, the only reason I don't think Kiku is accompanying them is because she is wearing one of the samurai capes. Right. But whatever. I thought we knew that Daruma was born in Wano because of the the family tree that Oda did an SBS on, and we found out Zoro and Queen are cousins. I thought that was that. Oh my god, yeah, Yamato is eating an apple. An apple. Sorry, alright. Let's not get hung up on this. I don't think we're gonna guess it. kid. Can you imagine? Oh my goodness. Alright, alright, alright. Big Mom sighting. Big Mom sighting. It's begun. 63 years ago, Chief Jarl, the partner of Chief Jarl, oldest of the giants today, Beardful Jarl, was killed by a young girl. The girl, a human, half destroyed an entire giant village. Her name was Charlotte Linlin, and she would later be known as Big Mom, Emperor of the Sea. I see the partner. And he died. As it happened, in that very same year, Elbaf was afflicted by disaster after disaster, fires, gales, and cold snaps that affected their crops, and poor fishing hauls as a result of the extreme weather that brought this normally fertile land to the brink of starvation. Okay. Are we gonna guess it's because that was Big Mom's power? Because Big Mom has a lot of weather element stuff. And maybe it threw their shit out of whack. I don't know. You see, it's because of the child. The kingdom's now under its curse because you didn't kill it like I told you to. But surely that's a coincidence. Oh my god, he's come back. Oh, it's looking at me. Prince Loki. Kick it out. Don't let that monster near me ever again. Oh my god. Prince Loki, you mustn't approach your mother's chamber. Put out the beast's eyes or this country is ruined. It's all under a curse. Oh my god. Bro, he climbed all the way up the tree. Ugly ass baby, sorry. Wow, I'm hungry. I'm sorry, sweetie. That was the last loaf of bread we had. Should we go raiding? It would be easy to take from the humans. That's a part of Elbaf's history, isn't it? Don't be a fool. Elbaf has always fought with pride. That's just a story we tell ourselves. The Huntsman village is attacking us. They've taken out other villages too. Grab your weapons. Don't let them pillage us. At this time, Elbaf had little internal cohesion and cooperation. Civil wars were not uncommon. With the desperate food situation, the fighting only grew worse and many died. The country... God, fuck. No wonder they needed a scapegoat. The country was plunged into chaos, and over time, from what I heard, that prince at the castle is accursed. The people grew sick within their hearts. Isn't this exactly what I said? Isn't this exactly what I said? Exactly what I guessed? Didn't I guess all of this? Didn't I guess all of this? I think I did. I think I did, but we'll keep going. Hang on. Hey, Hajrudin, your brother has put a curse on this land. He's trying to kill it. You're his brother, so you must be a sacrifice. Oh, fuck. So even he was affected by Loki's curse. Huh? Why? My son's the sweetest, cutest boy in the world, and that means he's got to live to be the oldest boy in the world. That is so true. Shut up, Ida. You had no right to seduce Harald like that, outsider. You shut up. Love has no borders. That's sounding like Gaban. Don't touch my mum. Oh my god, what a horrible thing to say to her. Oh, he's arrived. Get your hands off my wife. That's not what he said. Don't make me pound you, King Harald. Daddy, Harald, why do you turn on one another, my brethren, your majesty? In the same breath that I heard about the birth of Loki, I learned that my kingdom was suffering from starvation. I went at once to the countries with which we have ties, and without a single word, they went and loaded up their ships with massive piles of food. Each human has but a tiny body, but they banded together country after country and brought enough food to fill our giant bellies. Oh, let us be grateful for their aid. We're here, Harald. Hey, how do we dock at this island? Yaha, it's enormous. Who laughs like yahaha? Should I know that? Is that someone we know? Never mind. Let us savor the food they've brought us. Look, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Well, it's one of the humans saying, "Yahaha, it's enormous." And when they, in turn, need our help, let us give it freely. The world we've lived in is so much smaller than the real thing. That's very funny for a giant to say, right? The world we've lived in is so much smaller than the real thing. That is that is a funny giant thing to say. Shortly before Harald's return, Queen Estrid passed away. Oh, she is burning in hell, and to her dying breath, she spitefully blamed the kingdom's ills on the curse of Loki, her own son. Naturally, the people believe that the curse was responsible for her death. How is this baby already, like, war-torn? Like, he's been picked up and he's not even, like, he's so nonchalant about it. Loki, my son. He was born with an affliction of the eyes, I'm afraid, though he can see, I assure you. The poor lad. Can you smile? I suppose not, after losing your mother. Did no one tell him? Did no one tell him? At just a few months old, Loki abandoned any hope for love. Oh my god, he can't even walk yet. He doesn't even have kneecaps. Oh my god, he doesn't even have kneecaps! And he's abandoned hope for love! Oh my god! Wow. Oh my god, how is he like... How does he have like the trauma of like a 50-year-old war veteran? At a few months old! Jesus Christ. That's yikes. Any hope for love as well, for love. Not just any hope, hope for love. Oh my god, the Luffy healing is going to be so cute. The Luffy healing is gonna be really cute. It's gonna be so cute. Because Luffy's gonna love him. Oh my god, Luffy's gonna love him. Oh my goodness. Wow. Sorry. God damn. Oh, sorry, he's got a lot of bruises. Well. Meanwhile, Harald's diplomatic ties paid off, and Elbaf survived its long winter. Branch Route 1, that's right, it will promote friendship and trade between villages. But between rebuilding the shattered country and his many foreign trips, Harald was tremendously busy. Horrid thing. Oh my god, kill him. And so the care of Loki fell to his regent, Estrid's older brother. Did no one tell this man? Did no one tell this man? This baby's minding its fucking business as well. He's minding his damn business. Kneecapless, minding his business, not even smiling. And he's calling him a horrid thing. Good lord. Good lord. This is horrible. It's dangerous down here. This is the underworld. No, the sea separates us from the underworld. The beast can't reach us here. Oh, so cute. That's so sweet of you to be worried about me, though. You're going to do your warriors training with Elbow in the western village, right? I'll stop by on the way home. Fishermen, the shipwrecked pirates all come as a welcome here. This is Ida's bar. I just hope it helps Harald somehow. Yeah, she built the bar. I was gonna say, that's the bar. I love how the lever is an axe. She's on theme. I love that for her. "56 years ago, Jarl's home, Elbaf. So you were there for the incident at the Reverie, Harald. Yes, I asked a fellow royal to help me slip inside as a soldier. What do you mean, slip inside? You're as tall as the fucking Empire State Building. What do you mean? Hey, who's that guy? No one. Like, what the fuck? That's just my soldier. Oh, he's as big as a building. Yeah. Yeah. Where'd you get him? Don't worry about it. Like, what the hell? They slipped inside. Send Oda this SBS now. How the fuck did they take him as a soldier when he's as big as the Empire State Building? Someone send that SBS immediately. We need to know. Oh my god. To help me slip inside as a soldier, but in the end, the council would not hear me out. The intruder could be anyone. If not for all the uproar about that murder, I might have been imprisoned. If you were lucky... Oh, so there was a thing that happened at the Reverie. Okay. Okay, that's interesting. If you were lucky, you'd only be in chains. That was reckless of you. Say, have you ever heard of the Galela Band? That group of hardy giant shipwrights, hammer-wielding warriors, right? I thought they were a myth. No, they most certainly existed. They traveled to distant shores and sent a letter back to Elbaf from afar. Who are these men? It said, we have all been taken prisoner. Oh, can you believe that? Who could possibly capture 100-strong company of our kind, with ancient giants among them to boot? Yeah, that's scary.
Howdy do, boys.
So the giants made Galila. Is that what you guys are thinking? You think the world government did that? It's clear that we had a great enemy at some point in the distant past. But all of that history was sunk under the sea one day. My point is, your failure to win them over might not be your fault. Some ancient enmity. Right. Sorry. I've heard stories on the wind about an army of giants put on ice and hidden somewhere. In any case, never forget that we have long been a threat to the rest of the world. Yes, I'm well aware of that. Oh, Prince Loki, killer of my beloved sister. Leave him alone. Leave him alone. Oh my god. This poor fucking kid. Oh my god. They're all horrible. Let's see, what rotten scrap shall I feed you today? No, not the growth. Oh no, the lucky horse is dead. Oh no, the regent is dead down in the underworld. Oh my god, So as he grew up, he just kept hearing bad news and they just kept pointing fingers at him. Jeez. Wow, 48 years ago, Harald built 8 branch routes in Elbaf, unifying the country and creating a vibrant trade between villages. My dream is for us to be connected to every country and for giant kind to be able to live all across the world. You're the best king. You're the best king, Harald. I can scarcely remember how he used to be. Harald is now a king for the ages. Why do you look so pleased, Hajrudin? You're not the king's real son. Loki is our only prince. You're just a bastard. Look out, King Harald has gone on another of his trips. And you know what that means? Bolt your doors, bring the children indoors. Come on, boys, destroy them. This is Elbaf, land of the mighty. The weak don't deserve to live. Loki, meanwhile, caused harm and destruction and mocked those who ran from him. We'll talk about this. We'll talk about this. Hey Loki, don't mess up the village Dad worked so hard to rebuild. Huh? He's my dad, not yours. That guy might get a lot of respect, but he tries to be friends with those tiny little bug humans. It's so stupid. You have to see everyone at the same eye level, huh? Like his mum told him. Don't think you're special just because you're big. I'm special because I'm the prince. But he does have a point. He does have a point. He doesn't think he's special because he's big. I'm the prince. He's got a point. Wah! Don't ever talk back to me again, shrimp. Hajrudin, stay away, Girth, or Loki will think we're friends with him. Oh, it's little Girth. And then he'll hit us. We are friends with him, dummy. Hajrudin, are you okay? Quick, help him. Oh, and then Loki saw he had friends. Loki saw he had friends. Haha, little creep, you're a loser, Hajrudin. Look at you weaklings licking each other's wounds. That is really funny when he made a bunch of animal friends that will literally lick wounds. Oh my god, the son of a mother with tainted blood. Your Highness, that's enough. He's the king's son as well. He's a prince. Don't call him a prince, but no matter how much he harmed and destroyed, Loki could never fill the hole at the center of his being. I can't even die. Oh my god. Oh my god. Kaido 2.0, but like much sadder. Jesus Christ. No. Oh. This is horrible. Oh, this is horrible. I was right, by the way. Whenever Loki has that little snot thing, because that's happened a few times, he's trying not to cry. I'm telling you guys, go back and reread from Loki's introduction. You'll see that little snot bubble tons of times. And I always thought, is he crying or trying not to cry? Because that's usually what the snot bubble is in One Piece. That someone's crying, right? So every time I saw it, I thought that was Loki trying not to cry. The snot bubble for Loki is pretty specific, bro. Like, it's pretty specific. It's clearly about him crying. Oh, goodness. I can't even die. Wow. Oh! Wait. Oh, wait. What's up with this island? Where do you get inland? Ah, there we go. Look, it's a giant kid. So this must be Elbaf. Jihaha, this one looks positively demonic. It seems too big, even for a giant. Is he crying? Leave him alone. All right, Brat, you're going to say yes twice because that's the answer I want from these questions. This man, whom Harald met at the Reverie 8 years earlier, killed a Navy headquarters admiral and fled. Yes. Yes. Oh my god. Sorry, I just read something. Now the government has placed a heavy bounty on his head. Question 1, is this Elbaf land of the giants? Question 2, is Harald here? Rox D. Zebek, future captain of the Rocks Pirates and father of Blackbeard? Fuck. He's the father of Blackbeard. My theory was Buggy. It's Blackbeard. Oh, no wonder Whitebeard had him on his crew. Blackbeard, I mean. No wonder he had him on his crew. Damn. First of all, I still like him. And I still think that he's not going to be an evil, evil man. Is that Big Mom behind him? Who's that woman? That's not Big Mom. That's not her face. I'm ignoring Shiki. I hate that bum.
Whack his pee-pee.
Stussy! Oh shit! Oh fuck, I forgot Stussy wasn't a government agent. I was thinking of a fucking clone. I was thinking of a clone. My bad, my bad. So Zebecca's Blackbeard's dad. I didn't think we'd get Blackbeard's parents. How are we feeling? Based on panel, we see mountains slashed and 2 fingers lifted by Rox. Do you think Rox has... Op no me. You mean Law's fruit? I mean, doing that doesn't necessarily mean you have a fruit. Because, I think Zoro can do that. Like, I don't mean to lift him, but I think Zoro can do that. No? Yeah, because he's asking 2 questions. Mihawk can do that. I mean, I'm not sure about Zebek having a fruit. And the reason I'm not sure about Zebek having a fruit is because Roger didn't. And I know that doesn't like necessarily mean that Rox won't have a fruit, but I feel like a lot of the older generation just didn't like use fruits, you know what I mean, or didn't have fruits. And I know that's funny to say because Shiki and Whitebeard are all behind him, but oh guys, sorry. A lot's coming in. A lot's coming in. I'm very curious on your thoughts on Harald. He's an amazing king that accomplished so much, but his sons were suffering right behind his back. Yeah, he's a shit dad. He's a shit dad. He's an example of he was looking at the big picture, and that's great. But looking at the big picture...
Mel, cover each of Zebek's eyes and look at the similarities between Blackbeard and Buggy.
Pause for a second. Everyone calm down. So first of all, okay, I know we're excited. First of all, what was I saying? I like that Harald was looking at the big picture for his country. That's great. But there's an example here of if you don't keep the people you love in check as well, or close to you as well. Fuck, thank you, Voltacan. If you don't keep the people you love close to you, you don't keep an eye on them, you've abandoned them by accident, right? I think that's the message here, that it's great that you want to help everyone, but if you help everyone, right, then you might go blind to the people that you love. And he allegedly loved his kids. I think he loved Loki. I think he loved Hajrudin and his wife, right? Hajrudin's mum, I mean, not Estrid. Sorry, I forgot her name. So look, it's interesting. And the reason I say it's interesting is because I'm thinking about Luffy and I'm thinking about what Luffy does. Luffy's not a ruler, right? He's a pirate. But when it comes to Luffy and saving people, the reason he saves islands and he wants to make island like better, he doesn't actively exactly want to make an island. He doesn't want to fix an island. What Luffy does is he doesn't want his friends per island to suffer, right? And he hunts down the source of suffering and he says, you're fucking gone, because I don't want my friends to cry. I don't want my friends to starve. I don't want my friends to die. Harald had a good idea to help Elbaf. He did. But I feel like he lost sight of who he was improving Elbaf for, which would have been his children, you know? And the woman that he loved, you know? At least that's how I feel. And I think that is an issue in itself, because Loki was suffering. Hajrudin was suffering. And he couldn't see that because he spent too much time focusing on his country, which again, not a bad thing, but he spent absolutely no time focusing on the people he loved. And that is really not good. Not good at all. Like, he's a bad dad. He's a good ruler, but a bad dad. And now I can see why both Hajrudin and Loki have very, very, very conflicted opinions about him. They both seem to not really fuck with him. Like, they are both being told that Hajrudin is a good ruler, and I'm sure they both agree with that, but they personally would probably not have the best relationship with him, right? Not at all. Sorry, I don't know if it's just the facial expressions, but one of Rox's eyes matches Blackbeard's and the other matches Buggy. People have spliced Rox's face to both Blackbeard and Buggy and it lines up for both. Now, here's the thing. I was thinking, those eyes look like Buggy's. I was thinking that. But doesn't Blackbeard also have the lashes? Or am I making that up? I gotta double check this. Blackbeard also has the lashes. Which is why I'm like, I'm not sure if Buggy's on the table anymore. They're not on the bottom though, they're at the top. That's true. Perona's eyes are different though. I'm looking at photos of him to make sure. His lashes aren't on the bottom. Yeah. They're around the side. Thank you for the sub. Sorry, I'm trying to get an up-close photo. Where's this one where he's like, ew, this cherry pie's disgusting. Here it is. Yeah, they're at the top. Or on the side. Okay. Maybe Bogaya is not off the table. Maybe Bogaya is still possible. Look, I'm now less convinced. I do like the design of Rox. I like his hair. I like his, it's very Y2K. But no, I do like it. His hair looks like an explosion. Now, sorry, someone else sent something. My theory is that Beck found a way to put his and Teacher's mum's soul into Teacher's body. It would explain all of Blackbeard's weird quirks. I don't know what to say about that, because I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know what to say. It's a good theory, but of course I've got nothing to add to that because I don't know anything about what Rox is right now. We don't know anything about Rox. This is the first time we've ever seen his face. But I'm gonna stick by that I don't think Rox is like evil like everyone thinks he is. I don't think he's disgustingly evil. I mean, he killed a Navy Admiral. My man. My man. I can't hate him. You know? I was right this week again. I love being reminded that I'm right, but please explain what I was right about, but I think I know. What if Blackbeard's just a jackass? Loki's childhood. Yep. So he was devoid of love. Right. Well, I'm jumping around, but Hajrudin and Loki's contrast so far, fantastic. If there's something Oda's really good at, he's really good at character contrast. He's very good at it. Because Hajrudin clearly envies Loki for being the actual crown prince of Elbaf, right? While Loki envies Hajrudin for having friends, having a loving mother, people liking him, right? They clearly envy each other, and they both envy each other while having the same father that neglected them both, right? Isn't that fucked up? I really want to see Loki Lola flashback now. Dude finally managed to find love and presumably fucked it up somehow. See, I don't know if it's that Loki found love. Well, not love exactly, maybe love. I think what happened, because I don't think Lola loved him. I was going to say, because I think what happened is Loki was given the arranged marriage option by Big Mom, and Loki thought, oh my god, I'm going to have someone that will love me. You know what I mean? I don't think it was even being kind or anything to him. I just think he heard marriage and thought, I'll have someone that loves me. But we know that Lola didn't want an arranged marriage because she didn't want to marry under her mother's, like, thumb, you know? She wanted to find her own love in the world. So, I just think what's going to happen from here is it makes sense that Loki took the arranged marriage, and it makes sense that, that Loki wanted to marry Lola because maybe he saw something great in her, and Lola's great. Why wouldn't he, right? I don't think he does know that marriages aren't arranged marriages aren't love related, because Harald still cried over Estrid dying. I don't think Harald hated Estrid by any means. He wasn't told. I don't think he was told what Estrid did to Loki. And that's probably why Estrid's brother looked after Loki. I don't think Estrid and Loki had a bad marriage. I just think she was a bad person. Sorry, Loki, Estrid and Harald. Oh my god. I don't think Estrid and Harald had a bad marriage. I just think that she was a bad person. And Harald didn't see that because I think no one told him anything. And that's crazy because maybe if he asked his own son what he remembers about his fucking mother, maybe he'd know something, you know what I mean? He wasn't even around to know her, I know. An army of giants put on ice somewhere. Hang on, I gotta double check this. Wait, where did they say that? Sorry, there was so much that happened this chapter. When Yarrow was talking with Harald, hang on. I'm jumping around. What?
Howdy do, boys.
Okay, I've heard stories on the wind about an army of giants put on ice and hidden somewhere. In any case, never forget that we have long been a threat to the rest of the world. I don't know if that's Punk Hazard, because Punk Hazard wasn't originally frozen. Remember, Punk Hazard turned into what it did because of Akainu and Kuzan fighting. I'm not sure if that would be Punk Hazard. Originally, Punk Hazard as an island was normal. Maria had one. We see giants there? I was gonna say, what if they found them somewhere? But what if they found them somewhere? Because Punk Hazard as an island was not originally frozen over. Akainu and Kuzan's fight turned it into that. I'm checking. Oh yeah, there they are. So isn't it possible that Caesar found them and moved them and was using the frozen giant's blood or whatever to make the giant children? Alright, sorry. Harold grew up like a celestial dragon, spoiled and privileged and powerful. He's sort of like Saint Homing, full of idealism but blind to many realities. I don't know if he's like Saint Homing. I'm not sure because I don't think Harold was blind to many realities. I just think he was blind to his children. I just think, again, the people closest to him were suffering and he didn't even realize. Because he was looking so much at the big picture that he didn't step forward for once, you know? Well, I can't wait to see what Rox and Loki is going to be, but I'm going to guess from the chapter that we got that Rox maybe treated Loki nicely, or maybe had Loki hanging around, you know what I mean? Maybe Loki saw this family of pirates and thought that's what I want. Whoop. Which sounds about right. But again, I don't think Rox is evil. And even when Rox stabbed Loki, Whitebeard was like, you know, isn't that a bit much? But for now, I'm gonna sit with, I think Loki was desperate to come after them, and Rox had to do anything he could to stop him. I mean, Loki doesn't know what a family is. Loki's pretty hard to stop, yeah. But oh god, everything about love is surrounding Loki. It's just so sad. It's just so sad to see. Hajrudin was brought up in such a loving home with such a loving mother, while Loki had absolutely no love in his life. None. Absolutely none. And his love, he was so devoid of love that he just lashed out, caused tantrums, wanted to die, right? He just wanted someone to love him. He just wanted someone to love him. And no one in Elbaf could love him because they'd already been blaming every single bad thing that was happening in Elbaf on him. And this is what I was saying. I said this. I said, because people said, but Loki was lashing out. They said that Loki as a kid was like beating up villagers. And I remember saying, but what if he's doing that because they've already turned him into this monster? What if Elbaf turned him into this monster and he had no choice but to be this monster? Because it seems absolutely no one gave him a chance. From the second he was born, no one gave him a chance, right? His dad wasn't around to love him properly. His mum literally chucked him out, despised him. His uncle fucking hated him. Every single bad thing that happened in Elbaf, they blamed Loki. Right? And what chance did he have? Right? What chance did he have? Even if he'd try to make friends, and even if he tried to talk to people, he was known as the cursed prince. He was known as the prince that if he just existed in Elbaf, he'd bring bad things, you know? Of course a fucking kid like that is gonna lash out. What else are they gonna do? They had no one and nothing, and everyone blamed them for everything. Everything. He literally, it says that when he's a baby, he'd abandoned all hope of love. He was a baby and he'd abandoned all hope of love. Why would a kid like that even try, you know? He'd abandoned all hope of love. Why would he even try? He was emotionally numb. Exactly. That's just horrible. Because that's the thing. I was like, oh, Harald seems to like him. Oh, Harald was one, not told the truth, two, was never around. Was never around. And now I'm really excited to see more of Loki's relationship with Harald. Because now I do think that Loki has a interesting relationship with Harald. And it's very, very, very twisted and hard in a way that he doesn't really know how to feel about his father. Harald was an absent father, yeah, for sure. For sure, for sure, for sure. It is sad because if Ida took him in, sorry, that's the mother's name, right? Hajrudin's mother's name? Yeah, it is. If she took him in, he definitely would have been loved. But because they had to follow giant customs or giant rituals. See, that's the thing I thought as well. I was interested why Harald was such a slave to Elbaf tradition. Which is interesting because he's changing things about Elbaf and yet he's still like, oh, I can't live with my wife. I can't live with the woman I love. I can't live with my son. I have to get together with this other woman. Like, why was he such a slave to that? Alternative universe where Whitebeard adopts Loki. Oh, please. He wouldn't even fit on the ship. A child that is rejected by the village will burn it to fill its warmth. Yeah, that's a really, 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 really good way to put it. Exactly. He was rejected. That's like the only thing you can really say. And think of it from Loki's perspective. He'd be thinking, what do I have to prove to these people? They already hate me anyway, right? Loki wasn't raised in a household or in any way where he knew how to deal with things emotionally. He had no idea how to deal with that. At all.
Howdy do, boys.
At all. He had no one that properly loved him and no one who taught him anything emotional, right? He didn't teach him any emotional maturity or like just anything emotional. So how in the world could he ever, ever, ever make friends in a place like this? It's just awful. Loki's saying being special is my right. Because he's fucking projecting. Like, he has no one and nothing. All he has is the prince label. That is all he has. I'm special. I'm special. He's a cursed prince. Everyone hates him. No one loves him. But I'm special. I'm still special. I'm the prince. You know? That's the only thing he has to his name. I'm the prince. That's me. And yet he's still trying to off himself anyway. Like, he's still trying to off himself anyway, no matter what he does. God. This is fucking nothing like Doflamingo. This is nothing like Doflamingo. Doflamingo had people that loved him. Never say that again. Never say that again. Doflamingo had people that loved him. His family loved him. Doffy shot his own father in the back of the head, even though his father loved him unconditionally. Unconditionally. His father's last words were, Doffy Rosinante, I love you. And he shot him point blank. Loki is nothing like Doffy. Because Loki had no one that loved him. Absolutely no one. No one. Loki's a lot more like Kaido. A lot more like Kaido. You better apologize to Loki. Well, Loki's a crybaby. I knew he'd be a crybaby, by the way. I knew he'd be a crybaby. He was running off crying. Oh, God. Well, the only reason people are saying Loki Sanji is because they were both rejected by their parents. That's why people are saying Loki and Sanji are similar. But again, the difference is Sanji actually had someone that loved him. Sanji had a mum that loved him. His mum just died, and then he was rejected by Judge. But that's about it. That's about it. Loki's soft-hearted, by the way. I will say Loki's soft-hearted. I truly believe he's soft-hearted. Because he's running off and crying. Because he has no one. I think that's something someone soft-hearted does, you know? I think he does have a soft heart. I think he's always had a soft soul. He's just never been able to have it. Because, again, the whole fucking island hates him. Everyone hates him. He's a lot more like Ace, honestly. If anything. Everyone hates him. And remember, think about like how Ace changed because of someone like Luffy. Sabo was there too. But think about how Ace changed because of someone like Luffy. That's why I'm so excited. I'm so excited to see how Luffy loving Loki is going to help him. Oh my god, I want a scene where Loki is like crying and he says to Luffy, "You like me?" Oh my god, that would make me sob. If Loki's like, "You like me?" Oh my goodness. That would make him break down crying. Luffy already fed him. Luffy likes him. But if Luffy like straight up says to him, "I really like you," you know? "I'll help you." Like, God, say that you want to live. Jesus. I do think, though, I still don't think that Loki is going to be joining the Straw Hats. I think that Loki is, going to want Elbaf to accept him. Because now I'm more sure than ever that all Loki wanted was acceptance. So I'm now a bit more convinced that what Loki is going to want is, just Elbaf to like him. I think that's what he's gonna want. He just doesn't want to be the cursed prince anymore. Hajrudin and Loki will be co-captains of the giant warrior pirates. Broggy and Dory will retire to a one-bedroom apartment. What do you mean retire to? They've already got one of those. That's true. They'll go back to their one-bedroom apartment, their shared one-bedroom apartment. Oh goodness. I can see Harold. I can see Hajrudin and Loki becoming kings together. I can see that. Or like king and like the royal consort, like royal guard or whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? I can see them ruling Elbaf together. But the thing is, if that does happen, because do remember, Hajrudin's part of the Straw Hat fleet. If that does happen, world government has absolutely no chance of, that's probably what's going to happen, because that's what happened in Wano. Luffy gave Wano his flag and said, "You're protected under me." That's probably what's going to happen. That Hajrudin, by being part of the Straw Hat fleet, will rule Elbaf alongside Loki, and then they'll be given Luffy's flag as an alliance and as protection. Is it an alliance? Or is it like, what would you, as part of the fleet, I suppose? I guess it's not an alliance because they are directly under Luffy. So I can see that happening. Harald being desperate to join up with the world government is interesting. Luffy's territory, yeah.
do, boys?
Do you think Shirahoshi, Loki, and Momo will get a trio moment? Giant pink crybabies from exclusionist islands who owe Luffy a debt. I hope so. That would be very cute. That would be very cute. Big pink crybabies. Rebecca's not a big pink, is she? She's crybaby, but she's not a big pink. Guys, she's not a big pink. Momo can turn into a big pink dragon. You're not looking at the big picture here. You're not looking at the big picture and therefore abandoning your children. I know Luffy doesn't see it that way, but once you've given... like, Luffy knows what a flag means. He knows what a flag means, right? So, my point is, if Luffy gives Elbaf his flag, they are now under his protection. And he knows that. Luffy, I know Luffy's stupid, but he's not, like, oblivious. Like, he knows what these symbols mean. What the hell happened? I think if Shanks saw that Elbaf had Luffy's flag, that he'd be more than happy about that. I think here's the problem. Spandam had purple hair. At least in the anime he did. That's purple! That's purple. You're stupid! Sorry. God, what was I gonna say? What was I gonna say? Oh, I think where Harald went wrong, because I'm thinking of Fishman Island. Fishman Island was going two ways. We had Princess Otohime, or Queen Otohime, who wanted to bargain with the world government. Well, not bargain, but deal with the world government in a more peaceful way to try and get her people to see the sun, right? Then we had Fisher Tiger, and Fisher Tiger was going the other way. He didn't believe the world government could exactly be bargained with or dealt with, right? Negotiate, yes. He didn't believe the world government worked like that because he'd seen horrible things, you know? So he went the other way, and he was using a more forward and violent means to protect or to be able to help fishermen. And I love that story because even Jinbei himself says, I don't know who's right. I don't know who's correct, but both of them wanted the same thing, right? And I really, really like that story because I agree it takes both. It takes both to be able to make this work. You do need that negotiation and you do need pushing papers, but you do also need more than that or nothing can be done, you know? And I think that was an issue with Harald. He didn't have both. He was the only one really doing anything while giants were being... I want to say they were being killed. The world government was not treating giants very nicely, you know what I mean? But the most interesting part is the world government, wouldn't they want giants? They want them now. So they blundered bad if they didn't take Harald's offer. Because now they want Elbaf under world government control. But if you get them under your control as a nation, you can then use them as soldiers, right? So why was Harald's deal not taken? I don't believe the world government sees anyone they have as equals. At all. At all. I think the world government is literally just seeing as these are all the places we control. Because remember, all those countries have to pay a tribute by being part of the world government. And even the celestial dragons, even Lucci said at the reverie, you guys are not on the level of like these guys, these gods, just because you're in the world government. You're like the lower realm. Imu did say Harald made a mistake. Do we not think Harald wanted to join the world government? Hang on. The council would not hear me out. Howard's trying to win them over. Yeah, it doesn't explicitly say that he wants to join them, but he wants to win them over. I was under the assumption that he wanted to join the world government. But didn't Loki say something? Hang on, when this flashback started? You were summoned too. I have no interest in a man who'd sell his soul to the world government. Yeah, that's ominous. Oh, question mark. Sell his soul, you say? I bet I had the same reaction the first time I read that. Right? Sorry, I'm reading the chapters with Loki in it again, like when the flashback started. Sorry, Loki's going... That, lackadaisical attitude is exactly the problem. It's how you end up with peace-addicted children with no idea of how to swing a weapon. And then Jarl says to Loki, that's the age we live in. My granddaughter's granddaughter doesn't fight and she's adorable. And Loki says, soft old dullard, train her up, use some discipline. Loki's giving... My parents beat me and I'm fine. That's what Loki's giving. My parents hit me and I'm fine. That's exactly what he's giving. God. Look how I turned out. I don't need therapy. That's a new thing. That's a young gen thing. Oh, God. Have you tried throwing her off a tree? Where are the stinkmen? When is he meeting his stinkmen? What the fuck? Oda, show me when Loki met his stinkmen immediately. Immediately, I demand it. Right. Anyway, so yeah, so Elbaf is still so heavy on love. As always, One Piece is so super heavy on love. Incredibly heavy on love. Harold loved his land. My mum beat my ass just looking at her funny. Just for looking at her funny. No! No! Oh. That is so horrible! That is beyond horrible. My mum threw me off a tree because I looked at her funny. Oh god. Anyway, sorry. So we have Harold loving his land, right? We have Harold loving his country. And we have Hajrudin loving his mother. Hajrudin's mother loving him. Also Hajrudin loving his friends. And then we have no one loving Loki. And now Loki is truly an example of what if no one loved someone? What would happen to someone if no one loved them? Just no one. And I'm trying to think if Oda's done that before. We had Robin, but Robin was loved by her mother and Ohara. Frankie was loved by Tom. Sanji was loved by his mother. Caesar Clown! Doffy was loved! How many times do I have to say this? Doffy's not the victim you think he is. No, Law was loved. Law was loved by his parents. They were just taken from him. By his parents and also his class nun, I suppose? Ah, there was Baby 5. That is true. There was Baby 5. Yep. And Baby 5 got all types of fucked up. Oh my god. Imagine Loki and Baby 5. Two horribly broken people. No, I think Whitebeard was loved before he started his crew. He talked to people. And he said, I want a family. Baby Five is in the Alliance. Maria was loved, he just lost love. So there's a difference between losing your loved ones and being unloved point blank. I think some of you are turning more to grieving instead of just straight up you were never loved, right? Because Maria is grief and grieving of the loved ones that you've lost. Drake, maybe. I don't think we know enough about him. I like Rocks. I like Rocks so far. I like him. I'm still thinking he's not going to be evil mastermind. Ace, yes, Ace. No, Ace is true. Ace did have Sabo, but it took Luffy. Ace had Sabo and Dadan, but it took Luffy for him to truly, thank you for the sub. It took Luffy for Ace to truly open up. Big Mom's children did have each other because Katakuri and Brule loved each other. Pudding, I'm not so sure on. No, the people of the village loved Pudding. Just she had to hide herself. Like the whole everyone on Big Mom's island loved Pudding. It's just that she had to hide a part of herself to be loved. Big Mom was loved, she just ate them. She just ate them. Orochi was loved by Odin. He just didn't take it. Girth also loved her. Queen was loved. Her dad was just a fucking dickhead. Queena's dad just didn't love her dream. Also, Zoro loved her. They were besties. Ulti and Paige had each other. Loki didn't have anyone. He didn't have anyone. No one at all. Because again, Harold wasn't there for him. Ever. ever. The fact that Hajrudin was the one that had to stop Loki's rampaging and not King Harald is crazy to me. That's really crazy to me. Really, really crazy to me. Yamato had faith from the samurai. He didn't know them for long, but they impacted him greatly. And Ace as well. But yeah, it's insane that the older brother has to stop the younger brother's rampaging. And Harald, was he aware of any of this? Was he aware of any of this? He was gone. God, that is such a good way to make these siblings never have a healthy relationship. Oh my God. Oh no. Yeah, no, Harald was a bad dad. He was a bad dad. I like Harald. Listen, I like Harald. I like Harald because I like that Harald is a showing of a man with a blind spot. Again, I like Harald because he's a showing of he can do good things. He's a good guy that can do good things. But in some parts of his life, he has failed. Right? I like that that's an aspect of Harald. That his legacy is going to be he was a good king. But to his own children, they don't believe him to be a good dad. You know? And I think that's a really, 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 really good character to have. At least I like that whole like conflict that these two kids have with their father. And again, I just have to wonder, when he was helping Elbaf and fixing Elbaf, who is he doing it for, right? He's doing it for his people. But you'd want to make Elbaf better for the future and for the future generation, right? And how can you make Elbaf better for the future if your own children who are going to be part of that future aren't taught this, you know? Aren't taught those rights and wrongs
Howdy do, boys.
from you know? Because remember what it said, the hearts of the people of Elbaf were becoming rotten or something. God, what did it say? It was a really good line. The people grew sick within their hearts. So I think Harald was trying to help Elbaf on a surface level there, but I think the sickness in their hearts needed more to be cured. Right? I think Loki is an example of there is still a sickness in this island. There is still a sickness within these people because they still don't like Loki. And Loki is still treated as the cursed prince. I think once that would be a really, really nice wraparound too. That once the people of Elbaf accept Loki, they can actually finally start healing and finally head to a better future. Because I was wondering, what is Elbaf themes going to be, right? What does this mean? Obviously love, it's always love. Love is a huge factor in anything. Theme of the future is huge. It is huge in Elbaf. Theme of the future has been big, point blank. But I was very confused. Because they're trying to make a more peaceful, right? Island. They're trying to make a more peaceful country. So the kids were peaceful and the kids were nice. And for some reason, that was kind of seen as a bit of a bad thing. And I was confused about that. And I still have a belief that just because you have like peaceful times, if the world around you is still burning, you can't truly have a time of peace. I still think that's going to be part of it. But now I'm starting to think it's because the king had blind spots. And the king is trying to make a more peaceful future and a more peaceful future generation. But his own son has been left in the dirt, right? His own son is still being treated. His son is part of the new generation, right? And his own son is still being treated as cursed and is still part of the rot that lays under Elbaf, you know? And now I'm you know, I'm starting to think that with these themes of the future, there's going to be like, you have to start moving with everything. You have to start moving everything into the future. And that includes Loki. You can't just leave people behind, I suppose. Or you have to be able to help everyone, I guess. Because I would say the reason Harald had a good time being a king is because he had a scapegoat and he didn't even realize it. And that was Loki. Because think about it. People are starving. Calamity is happening. Everyone's fighting. Any other point, you'd blame the king for that, would you not? You'd blame the king for not doing his duty. But because they had Loki, Loki got all the fucking brunt of it. He got all the worst parts of what was happening during King Harald's ruling. And they just turned on Loki and said, you're the problem. King Harald's great. You're the problem. Right? And he never knew. Harald never knew. And that's bad, you know? Like, I'm not saying that, like, Harald did this on purpose. But I am saying that Loki very much accidentally became Harald's scapegoat. And that's why everything is being blamed on him. Anything that would usually be blamed on the king. That the king isn't doing his job properly. We're starving and the king isn't here to help us. We're going to blame that on Loki, you know? He did find the solution for food. And he did find the ability to feed his people. But if Loki wasn't here, they would blame him first and then he'd fix it. Instead, Harald just gets all the glory. Harald just gets all the glory. He's not blamed for anything. Instead, he gets every good part of it, right? So Loki gets turned into the fucking outcast point blank. And Harald gets turned into the hero because he had a son that he could blame everything on. And again, he didn't do that on purpose, but that's what the village was doing. And I think that's the issue. That is the rot. That is the rot under Elbaf. You know? That is the complete rot under Elbaf that I think once Elbaf accepted Loki, they also blamed Hajrudin, right? Both of his fucking sons were being blamed. And he was just being raised as this hero. You know? But, No. You're missing the point. I'm not saying Harald should have just sat there and been like, oh, they're starving. I'm saying that if Loki wasn't labeled as the cursed prince and the people were starving, and even if Harald were not there, they would still blame the king. You would blame the literal ruler of your country for the state of affairs of your country, right? Even if Harald were not in Elbaf and he were out trying to fix it, you'd still be like, I cannot believe the king has gotten to let it get to this point of us starving, you know? I cannot believe the king has gotten to this point of not helping us with these calamities that's happening per village, you know? Like, he would still take some blame and then fix it. Instead, he didn't get any blame. And that's a horrible thing for a child to shoulder. That he had to shoulder all of Elbaf's problems and he didn't get any way to be able to help, because these are not problems he could have helped. Now Loki has to forever endure. Exactly. So I think the wraparound with Elbaf may possibly be, if we want a better future and if we want a more accepting island, Loki needs to be part of this. He needs to be part of our future. We can't just kick this fucker out. We can't just chain him to a tree and pretend he doesn't exist, right? So it's like, I think a really good wraparound for Elbaf and its themes is Loki becomes accepted by Elbaf, or Loki is accepted by Elbaf. I think that would be a really, really good wraparound for Elbaf's themes. I really do. Because then that shows that there's some accountability for the people of Elbaf, and they do actively actually want to help each other and not just pin it on someone. You know what I mean? It's a future that everyone can exist in, basically. And not a future where some are simply removed. In saying that, there's also something there with Colin and Loki as well, because Colin doesn't fit in. Colin doesn't fit in, and all of his friends think he's like a fucking weirdo. And they think he's like a wild child because he likes fighting and he likes being a bit more aggressive, you know? But the difference is Colin actually had a mother and father that loved him, you know? And he still sees these people as his friends, so he knows how to deal with that. Loki didn't. And again, Colin wants to be a warrior, but they're about to enter a future where they're like, get rid of Elbaf's warriors. You know what I mean? I just think completely rejecting part of your people, such as the warrior side, because Ripley clearly like is egging Colin on to be a warrior, basically. So I just think I just think Elbaf having a future where you totally reject and somewhat bury some part of Elbaf is not a good future. You still need that acceptance and that accountability, I think. And I think that's the issue, which is why I do think Elbaf accepting Loki will probably be what ties Elbaf up into a neat bow. I just think that would be the best way for Elbaf to go, but I'm not Oda. For now, in my head, I think that might be the best way. Yeah, well, Colin doesn't internalize the ostracizing because, again, he had a mum and dad that loved him. Colin had a mum and dad that loved him. We have to remember, fucking no one liked Loki. No one liked Loki. Loki abandoned any hope of love when he didn't even have kneecaps. That's what we have to remember. Roto, I'm now unsure about, because I think because Hajrudin likes Roto. Harald cared about Loki, but he did not do him well. Again, Harald was absent. Roto is an outcast in his crew, that is true. Yeah, there's a lot of outcasts in Elbaf, is what I'm spotting. It seems to be outcast, because even there's definitely an outcast theme happening here. That is for sure. Mosa? Oh, Shaggy, yes. Shaggy likes Loki, but they've never met each other. And now it seems pretty clear why Loki is quite attached. Because Loki doesn't have anybody. And I feel Loki is afraid to have friends as well. I fear Loki is afraid to have friends because he fears that they'll reject him one day anyway. That's what it feels like is happening. It feels like Loki does have someone like Shaggy who is talking to him. And Loki does have his animal friends and the Stinkman and now Luffy that clearly likes him. But I think Loki is very, very afraid of opening up because I think he thinks they're going to reject him anyway. Because remember, the most important thing to remember is Loki abandoned any hope for love. Any hope for love. So even people he may try to get close to, he's abandoned the hope that they will love him. That's the most important part of this. Well, I do think Harald othered his sons. He did it on default of Hajrudin not allowed to be a prince and Loki being allowed to be a prince. You've already othered them just by doing that. Well, I think Shaggy is Shirahoshi. And I still stick by this. I still think that Shaggy is Shirahoshi. Because when they had their conversation, Shirahoshi was saying, oh, I was so scared at what was happening. And Loki said, if I were there, I would have razed them all to the ground. And I think they're talking about the reverie. I think they're talking about Shirahoshi being caught at the reverie and how scared she was when that happened. And Loki saying, I would have killed them all if I were there and that happened. That's my theory. Also because Loki keeps saying, you're such a wimp. You've always been such a wimp. That's Shirahoshi. Shirahoshi was a wimp. How would Shirahoshi get Loki's contact? I don't know. That's the question. See, I don't know, but how would Loki get anyone's contact? No one on Elbaf fucking liked him, so no one on Elbaf is going to give him their contact. Unless they didn't know. Unless someone on Elbaf dropped a fucking snail phone down into the underworld, which could be possible, I suppose. But remember, Loki said, we've never met. Loki said we've never met, and we also know the snail that Loki used was an overseas snail as well. Like, it's a snail that can take overseas calls. The snail connects us. Because I'm just thinking, Shirahoshi was locked in her room for so long. Right? And it's like, what else was she doing? Also, Shirahoshi uses Summer because she's overly polite. But what if she's using Sun for Loki because she sees him as a friend? I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know. The reason I think Shirahoshi is because he calls them a wimp. His nickname for it is Shaggy. And Roger made the joke about King Jamon having a hairy baby. And the incident they're talking about sounds like it could have happened directly after the reverie, because Shirahoshi just went through something traumatizing. Is Hajrudin's mum still alive, by the way? Does she still own the bar, or is that someone different? Hang on, I gotta go to the chapter. It was someone different, so it's not his mum. I don't even know if Hajrudin's mum is alive. They liked Ripley, I just remember that. Is that her? Hang on, I'm gonna do a compare. I'm gonna do a comparison. Oops, I closed my iPad by accident. No, that's not her. That's definitely not her. The new girl has a sharp nose. And different eyes. Yeah, that's not her. And different lips as well. That's not her. Yeah, Hajrudin's mum might be dead. Hajrudin's mum might be dead. But see, I don't think Loki was adored by one parent. I just don't think Harald really adored Loki because he didn't give him the time of day. I don't think Hajrudin's mum would get with Loki's mum. I don't think Ida would get with Estrid. She's a bit of a monster. She's a bit of a monster. Yeah, the longer she stays alive in the backstory, the more tragic her death is gonna be. Oh god. Yeah, no wonder Loki called Harald that guy. Well, what do we think is gonna happen next? Why do we think Rox is at Elbaf? Does anyone have any theories for that? Can anyone think why Rox is on Elbaf? Harald.
Howdy do, boys.
For Adamord, maybe? That's plausible. The tourist attraction. That's also plausible. The devil fruit. Many plausible things. Many such cases. Looking for Big Mum. I like that one. I like that one. I like that one. That's sick. That's good. I fuck with you. I fuck with you. That's a good one. First you said Rox is low-key hot, and then you said maybe looking for Big Mum. Yeah. I know exactly why you're in this chat. That's a really good one. Big Mum and Rox are around same-ish age. So, wait. She'd be younger. She'd be younger than Rox. But I just know that she was young when Rox recruited her because Kaido was also young. I mean, she would have had her first kid by now, no? I think she's got a Peros with her already. I like Rox's earrings. He's got beautiful eyes. That's true. The top half of his eyes are Blackbeard's and the bottom of his eyes are Buggy. Rox. Were you a clown, fucker? Rox, I need to ask a question. Interesting. Oh my god, and we don't have a break week. How exciting is that? Okay, unless someone has anything else they want to add, I have nothing else. All I'm saying is, so far I didn't guess Harald very well. Because I thought that maybe Harald... Actually, no, I did say that I think Harald... I changed it, didn't I? I did say I think maybe Harald might have been oblivious to what the world government was going to do and wanted to do. I did say that. So I wasn't completely right about Harald, but I did have a feeling. I did change my mind eventually. But for Loki, I've been right since the get-go. For Loki, I've been there since the get-go. I got Loki spot on. Absolutely spot on. And I'm happy I did because I love these kinds of characters. I love these kinds of characters. Making a character who is just devoid of love, as in they never received love, so they've given up on being loved. How fucking sad. How sad is that? He gave up, and the fact that he still keeps his eyes covered. This is gonna be a pudding situation because no one likes his eyes because they think it's cursed. It's gonna be a pudding situation where Loki takes off his bandages and Luffy says, "Oh, what beautiful eyes." It's gonna be a fucking pudding situation. MelonTeee plus sad man, name a better duo. You can't. You can't. I know my sad man. The second I saw Loki, I said, that's gonna be a sad man. I know it. She did it again. I can sniff him out. That's my power. I sniff out sad men. I sniff him out. Just from a single panel. I sniff him out. Yes. Yeah, this is fantastic. Loki's a really good character. Isn't it incredible, guys? Isn't it incredible? We're over 20 years into One Piece and we're still getting characters like Loki. And we're still getting stories like Harald's and Hajrudin's. Isn't that just incredible? This series never fails to blow my mind. It never fails to absolutely baffle me because I've never, ever, ever seen a series like this before where so many years later with every chapter, I'm excited. I'm excited. I keep having characters introduced to me that are so interesting and fun. You know what I mean? It's just incredible to me. Like, if you told Little Mel like 10 years ago, you're gonna like One Piece and you're going to like it to chapter 1100, I would not fucking believe you. Because who in their right mind thinks a series that has gone on for over 1,000 chapters stays good and just gets better? Who the fuck thinks that? Only One Piece, I'm telling you. Only One Piece, because it's not that One Piece is just, oh, I guess it's still okay. It just keeps getting better. Like, that's insane. I keep getting given characters that are consistent and interesting and tragic and fun, and I want to know more. That's just so insane. Oh, I love this series. I love this series. Yeah, I was told about the Punk Hazard callback. Oh, I love this series. God. Loki. Oh. God, Loki might become one of my favorite characters from this. My forks locks. Hang on, let me there you go. There you go. Loki might become one of my favorite characters. It's very possible. It's very possible. Look, I even did my hair to be like his. Oh my god, I'm just like Loki for real, except my mom and dad love me. Damn, and I don't have weird cursed eyes. I just have big wet eyes. Listen, I like him. I like him, okay? I like him. I really like him. But the reason I'm still waiting until he becomes a favorite of mine is because I'm waiting to see how Luffy heals him. Luffy's integral to me liking a character, because Luffy does something to a character. Do you understand? Do you all understand what I mean? I didn't think I'd like Zoro at all, for example, when I first started One Piece, but because of how Luffy interacted with him and because of how Luffy helped him, I started seeing the good sides of Zoro. Luffy makes you see the good sides of a character. Thank you, Brig. Luffy makes you see the good sides of a character. It's unreal, right? So Luffy's interactions with Loki are going to very much help. Because like I also didn't like Law too much as well when I first was introduced to him. I didn't fuck with Law. I thought it was ugly and boring and annoying. And a fucking My Chemical Romance wannabe, right? And I was like, whatever, who cares about him? I hated his drip. I hated his dumb face. I hated his dumb power. I liked his power at the time, actually, but I didn't fuck with him. Then he saved Luffy, and I was like, oh, okay. And then we met him in Punk Hazard, and I went, bah. And then Luffy was like, oh my god, it's Law. And Luffy really liked him. And because Luffy really liked Law, it made Law look silly and it made Law look cuter. And it made me realize Law's kind of a loser. Luffy made me realize Law is such a fucking loser. And I was like, okay, I really like Law. I really like Law. It took, like, I didn't really super duper love him until we got his backstory. And I was like, oh, he's fucked. He's my second favorite now. I don't remember who my second favorite was before Law. It was probably Vivi, because Vivi's my third favorite now. Oh, it was definitely Vivi. It went Sanji, Vivi, Nami, / Luffy / Zoro. And then it went Sanji, Law, Vivi, Nami / Luffy / Zoro. Right? So yeah, I'm very keen to see how Luffy heals Loki and how Luffy helps Loki. Oh, I love Robin. I love all the Straw Hats. Here's the thing. There is not a Straw Hat I don't like. Like, when I say Nami / Vivi / Zoro / Luffy, all I can tell you for a fact is my favorite Straw Hat is Sanji. That's what I can tell you for a fact. After that, you know what I mean? Like, my favorites jump around because I like all of them. I can't list them. I can only go Sanji and then everyone that I love as well. Sanji's just my special boy. He's my special boy. I'm sorry. I can't help it. And how can you not love Luffy? Because the funniest thing is, every time you ask a One Piece fan, who's your favorite character? So many times they'll go, well, aside from Luffy. You know what I mean? Like, it's really hard to not to say Luffy's your favorite character, because he's everyone's favorite, you know? And if he's not your favorite, what the fuck is wrong with you? I don't trust like that. If you don't like Luffy and you struggle to not love Luffy, I don't trust you. I'm sorry. I've escaped one too many red flags because someone didn't like Luffy. I will never forget when I was like at my friend's birthday dinner, and you did it at my birthday dinner. I'll never forget when I was at my friend's birthday dinner and I met a guy at that birthday dinner and she was like, oh my god, he likes One Piece too. And I was like, oh, okay. And I'll never fucking forget this guy because he was like, favorite character is Shanks. Hates Luffy. What the fuck? I remember so well because I was drunk. It was a birthday dinner. I'm going to drink. And I looked him dead in the eye. I had no filter. And I said, are you jealous of Luffy? And he got really angry. He got really angry at me. And I was like, I'm just saying, it's really weird. It's really weird that you like Shanks and don't like his like, kind of son, you know? And he got really mad at me. Anyway, months later, literally months later, I find out this guy's an absolute creep. I was told through my friend, this guy, he was a total creep and a total weirdo. And he made people uncomfortable. And I was like, yep. Yep. And I even said to her, I said, girl, if they don't like Luffy, you cannot trust them. I said, you cannot trust them. You can't trust them. It's like, this is like One Piece characters are like my star signs. Do you know what I mean? You know how some people go, oh, you're a Scorpio? Ugh, you know what I mean? That's me with One Piece characters. If you watch One Piece and I say to you, who's your least favorite Straw Hat? And you have an answer for that, you're already on my shit list. You shouldn't have an answer for that. I'm sorry. You're already on my shit list. How the fuck can you have an answer for that? If anything, it should be hard to say who your favorite Straw Hat is. Right? That's already hard. So it's like, if you don't like Luffy, I'm out. I don't want to see you again. I don't want to talk to you again. I'm not talking to you anymore. Like, I'm sorry. You must, to me, be an unpleasant person. And if anyone here doesn't like Luffy, first of all, why the fuck are you reading One Piece? Second of all, start liking Luffy. Be a better person and start liking Luffy. I thought I wouldn't like Luffy when I started One Piece, but it's just so delightful. Anyway, we went off track. This was a very good chapter. This was a very, very good chapter. I really, there are a lot of good lines here. One of them, of course, being, no matter how much Loki harmed and how much he destroyed, he could never fill the hole at the center of his being. And Loki cries as he says, I can't even die. And another good one that I really liked was, the country was plunged into hang on. With the desperate food situation, the fighting only grew worse and many died. The country was plunged into chaos, and over time, the people grew sick within their hearts. I also really like that line as well. There was a lot of good shit this chapter. Also, Hajrudin being forced to become a little warrior because Hajrudin also got shit for being Loki's brother as well. That's why Hajrudin isn't as peaceful, because he was forced to be a fighter. By the way, hang on. I gotta double check something. Hang on. Okay, no, she never had horns. Why did I think Estrid had horns? For a second, I thought Oda fucked up. I fucked up. Wow, so the horns weren't even connected to the mother. That's even worse! Loki's horns weren't even connected to his mum. They were directly connected to his dad, and his dad ripped his horns out. Oh my god, it felt like in every area Loki was being rejected. Oh. That's shitty too. Yeah, that's horrible. I'm sure that Harald didn't rip out his horns for the reasons that we were told, right? But if I were Loki and I saw my dad rip out the horns that I also have, I'd be like, yeah, just another sign that he doesn't love me. Like, oh my god. Why Harald was crying for Estrid? Because he wasn't fucking told anything. He wasn't told anything. It's quite clear that he wasn't told anything. But Harald, maybe if you talked to your children, you might know something. He's a bad dad. He's a bad dad. A good guy, but a bad dad, for sure. For 100% sure. Well, the reason I don't think it's for the reasons that we're told is because it's quite clear the world government did something to him. Right? That's quite clear. So it's possible that the reason he ripped out his horns was because of world government intervention. Like, there's a world government looming presence happening right now. There's an Imu looming presence happening right now in Harald's backstory. So when it comes to his horns, I still don't know that we've been told the truth. It indirectly harmed Loki and Hajrudin, both of them. I think that's important. Both of his children were indirectly harmed by his choices. God. Well, that's the thing. It's even more fucked up if Harald knew that everyone was like, we're blaming Loki, because he surely had to know something, right? And he just didn't do anything. He just went, whoop. Like, Harald, you're not going to stand up for your son. You're not going to untie the bandages around your son's eyes, hold him up to your people and say, this is not a cursed child. You're not going to help him, Harald. That's what I mean. He was too focused on the big picture of outside relations and healing and helping Elbaf politically to help the people that he should have, that he loved. It's just too rough. It's too rough. Anyway, good chapter. Very, very, very good chapter. The panel of Loki crying and sobbing as he's sobbing that he can't die is very, very cruel and very harsh. But we'll see. I don't know what to think about Rox. I don't know what to think about Rox so far, because we don't know anything. Just that, okay, Blackbeard's got a daddy, and that daddy is Rox. So yeah. That's awesome. TLDR, very good chapter to show Harald's character. Very good chapter to reveal Rox for the first time. Very good chapter to show Loki's and Hajrudin's contrasts. And that's about it. I just can't wait to see how this all wraps around. And I can't wait to see why Harald ended up where he did. I'm very excited for that. Okay. I know it's right about Loki. Ooh, she gets it again. She gets it again. She does it again. Okay, I've got nothing else to add. If no one has anything else to add, I will be jumping off. I've got work to do and I've got food to eat. So let me get in my box. Wow. Wow, almost 2 hours of yapping, guys. This was a big chapter. Thank you, everyone. I will see you next week for the new chapter. And you'll probably see me editing. I haven't finished writing the new script. The new script is Kuma. What good timing, right? Because the anime has just gotten, I think, to Kuma's episode, hasn't it? So the new script is on Kuma. New video is going to be on Kuma. And I will hopefully see you guys when I edit that, when I finish that script and start editing that video. Bye bye, everyone. Bye bye. Bye 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 bye.